And before we begin this, I think I need to explain what sloth is. We might think of it as simply being lazy, not doing a good enough job being a cog in a machine at a factory. But that's not what the medievals meant by it. The medieval term is acedia, and it suggests a sluggishness, not necessarily in the limbs of the body, but in the heart. A love for God and neighbor that falls far short of the ardor, of the fervor that we should love God and our neighbor with. St. Thomas Aquinas puts it very suggestively. It is the sin against the Sabbath. That is to say, it's the sin against that joyful, feastful rest that should characterize the Sabbath. Sabbath defined not as a day of inactivity, that's nonsense, but of the great activity, the restful, peaceful, joyful activity of worship. Joseph Pieper, a great philosopher, a Catholic philosopher of the 20th century, said that sloth was the characteristic sin of our world now, and he said that sin goes along quite nicely with a culture of total work, where you're defined not by the movements of your heart and soul, but by how much you can get done efficiently in a day, okay? This sort of hamster treadmill of a society is a society that is deeply steeped in sloth. It's a terrible sin, and especially terrible because for us now, it's so hard to recognize. And Dante got an interesting analogy. The spirits are like those racing along the river in the old days, in the forests, calling upon the god of wine, Bacchus, the god of drunkenness and revelry. That's fascinating. In a way, these souls, how to put it, were not drunken enough with love in their life. They were rather too sober in their attachment to God and to the things of heaven. And now they race like drunken revelers. And it's appropriate because the virtue in question is zeal. It's that passionate love for something good, transcendently good, that should be arising in our own hearts and seems to be arising in the hearts of these particular spirits, these souls. So, Dante says, straightway past us on the ring they swept, for that great throng of spirits ever raced, and the front runners shouted as they wept. Mary ran to the hill country in haste. Ratto, ratto, they cry out. Come on, quick, 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 quick. Now, this is wonderful. Again, it's always Mary, the first exemplar of the virtue. The virtue here, zeal, is an energetic love. Mary finds out from the angel Gabriel, remember from the gospel account, that her kinswoman Elizabeth is with child. She who was thought to be barren is with child of the forerunner, the Baptist, who will announce the coming of the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. And Mary does not say to herself, well, let's see, maybe I'll go and visit Elizabeth. I'll get there in about a month or so. Mary hastened to Elizabeth, not just to help her out, but to share joy. This is a meeting of two women on fire with love. Love for one another and love for the wondrous thing that God is doing in their lives.